Right then, here I am. It's only me this time. No puppies. Well, yesterday I said I would try and just do it with me, and here we go. I'll find out what the results are when I get back indoors. I'll see whether there's any damage to indoor property, especially with Covie. But I've just taken them for a good walk, so therefore they should. The majority of them should just rest now, because they've had a good walk anyway, so that should help. Yeah, we'll see. But anyway, so this one is age, certainly old age and society, because we look at that as well. Well, from an old age point of view, I suppose. That's what I've been given, so we'll go with that. As I mentioned slightly the other day, yesterday when I did a video, I think I mentioned it in one of the videos about older people and the fact that, the way society values people and the way the church should value people. That if you want to make a relationship work, you go and speak to someone who's been married and has made it work for 30, 40 years. That's your expert. Your expert isn't some idiot who's been to college and has studied a few bits. Maybe studied a few books that people have written who might not know very much themselves. So you're getting it sort of third hand rather than directly from the source. Go to someone who's actually made it work, where you can see the evidence. Where you've got a couple, you've got a husband and wife who've made it work. You can see them, you can see who they are, you can see their relationship. That's what you want to do. You want to speak to someone about raising kids. Speak to someone who's done it. Speak to someone who has good kids. That when you see their kids, they're respectful, they're kind to other children, they're considerate to adults. Ask those people. Don't go to the people with rowdy kids and ask them, because you're probably going to get rowdy kids. And you can ask them how they did it and then do it differently maybe. But the church is supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be a small community where each and every person has their function. Each and every person has their job to do. And the older people most certainly have a job to do. They've lived. They've got a wealth of experience. Because of that, they are incredibly valuable. Certainly they should be to the younger generation. They've been there, they've done it. They've gone through things. Like we're going through something now, COVID. We're going through lockdown, stuff like that. In the Second World War, those people went through rations. They went through trauma. They went through not being able to bury people. So if you want to know how to deal with that sort of stuff, even though it's not the same, there are enough similarities there that someone who's been through that sort of stuff could help you. Even someone who was there for it as a kid, who would remember stories that their parents told them. Very useful. Well, as I say, the extended family, that went. A number of years ago in the 70s, that went. So, the church is supposed to be an extended family. That's what it's supposed to be. The problem is in churches, in so many churches, you have predominantly people over 60 years of age. 60, 70, 80. Below that, the numbers thin massively. If you've got anyone in between, 10 and 16, for a lot of churches, if they get someone in that sort of age, they are singing and dancing. They are rejoicing. No, they're not actually, because of the fact if they start rejoicing, they'll probably break a hip. We've got to correct all that. We'll do, that's the point. If we get the harvest, then all of that sort of stuff will be corrected. It will be. So that's the reality, isn't it, really? It will be corrected, and we can get all that sort of stuff sorted out. But there's a lot we need to do. There's a lot, but age-wise, Prince Philip, 99, was still functioning. really up until what, 97? Was that how old he was when he stopped doing the job? Yeah, meeting and greeting people. About 97, the Queen still doing all her duties. 95. 95 years of age. Jesus. Come on. Well, and the thing of it is, you look at it from the point of view, if people who have lived incredibly lavish sort of lives, so basically, you would say the Queen and Prince Philip should be relatively fit because the amount of walking they have to do, the meet and greets, that's all walking. You have to do a lot of that sort of stuff, so it's little quick bits of cardio throughout the years, which is good, keeps you fit-ish. Well, with the royals, how many obese royals are there? Not many, are there really? They're all pretty thin because they've all got jobs to do. Walking is all part of their job, so they stay relatively fit. That's good, so they're going to live longer because they stay fitter. But they have a purpose as well. Having a purpose is really important with regards to living longer. If you don't have a purpose, you're going to be in trouble. You've got no reason to live, have you? So many people have no reason to live. That's why so many couples, they get married, they have children, they get a job. The job is to provide for a family. So then when they get to about 50, children have left home, mortgage is paid for, the job isn't really going anywhere. So within no time at all, they start to look older really quickly because they have no purpose. They have no reason to live. So all they're doing now, they're just existing, waiting to die. Because they've got no reason to live now. You've got to have a purpose. Very important. Especially as you get older, it's very important for you to have that. But the older people, certainly, there's a lot of skills that are there that are disappearing. So we've got to get these people who have got these skills and learn them. Really, my hope would be having sort of Christian communities where you could get people, even worldly people, with skills and say, please come and teach some of the people here. Get 10 youngsters. Say, go and learn that skill. Now, the reason why I say 10 is because maybe 2 or 3 will actually pick it up. Most of them won't. But you've got to make sure that skills from bygone years are kept alive. Looking at that, is it Fred Dibnah? The bloke who did the skyscraping stuff and the chimneys. That was skill. He had skill. Now, I'm not saying necessarily some person come and teach that, but there were certainly elements to what he was doing that need to still be taught to younger people now. Because there are some incredibly fantastic skills there that are practical. And you've got years of knowledge and understanding. Which is what I say to people, watch videos like that. Watch his videos. There's loads of videos of him doing his chimneys and how he did those, and when he was actually collapsing chimneys where he put a fire, and how he would do that, how he would know that chimney was about to fall over. All these things, stuff that he shared on his, when they did a TV program years ago, but they're all on video. You can watch all that sort of stuff. Brilliant. It is. It's just fantastic. It's amazing to watch. I'd say that's an understanding that we don't have now. Full of skills that we don't have now. Take that. There's a bench there. Is that a wonderfully ornate bench? No. I imagine that was probably done in a factory. Yeah, nice and simple, churn them out nice and quick. But there used to be people years ago who knew how to build beautiful, ornate benches. Lovely ones. There's still a few people who know that. But such things, beautiful, ornate benches, will be sought after. Yeah, they're going to be incredibly expensive for people to buy. So learning those sort of skills, you can build them, you can make money, good idea. Over there, loads of bricks there. So brick walls, yeah, those sort of bricks. Again, that's a skill. It's a skill that people learn how to do, that they've nowadays pretty much forgotten. You know, what about burials? The old-fashioned sort of burials. Again, there's a skill there. There's a skill to know how to do that. All these things can be learned. All these things can be carried on. They're not things that are necessarily day-to-day skills, but, you know. What about riding horse and trap? Yeah, most young people can't do that. They won't have a clue how to do that. They look at that and think, okay, how do we even put the trap on the horse? Now, I wouldn't have a clue. I'm not coming from experience and saying I know, but I'm saying that all these things need to be passed on. Yeah, the reality is there's a lot that the older generation can teach the younger. But looking at it from a societal point of view, we're going to be looking at kingdom and worldly. From a worldly point of view, how many times have we heard that older people were saying, oh, in my day it was much better. We had this, we had that, we had this, we had that. We didn't have this, we didn't have that. People were much nicer. If ever you hear people say that, one simple answer to that is, then your parents and grandparents did a blinking good job, but you failed. That's going to shut them up straight away, isn't it, really? But the truth of the matter is, yeah, that's true. You failed. If it's anything to do with, if we have any control over the way society is, which I don't think we really do, but if we did, then the person moaning about in their days it was much, much better, they're responsible. Them and their kids are responsible for the generation that we have now. They're responsible for the attitudes of the generation we have now. However, even though older people may look at society now and think about what on earth went wrong, how did we land up in this mess that we've got now? Because I mentioned in videos before, we've gone from, in the 60s, 70s, even 80s, it was right wing, basically. That was the understanding within society. It was quite strict, it was right wing, it was, you know, if a couple divorced, the man would always get the rights, basically. Yeah, if he wanted the kids, he would get the kids. That was reality. That was it. You know, if you were the owner of a business and you had two people going for a job, one was pinky skinned, one was brown skinned, you could take on the least experienced pinky skinned person with no problem at all, because you could be racist and there'd be no comeback at all. You could favour pinky skinned people against brown skinned people, no problem at all. Now, what do we have? We have a society now where it's gone pretty much the opposite way. Society adjusted, but it adjusted to the point, slingshot basically, yeah. It said, right, these are the views. Racism against brown skinned people by pinky skinned people, right? Yeah, men have the benefits over women. Yeah, men are believed over women. So, pretty much, it didn't take long to go from that to the complete opposite. Where if a woman says a man did something, straight away, that man is guilty. There's no due process or anything like that. That man is guilty straight away. There is due process to a certain degree with regards to the law, but with regards to society, that person has already been judged. The media has already judged that person. Well, because a woman wouldn't lie about it, would she really? Where do we see resistance from that? The only time we ever see resistance, we saw it with Brett Kavanaugh, didn't we? When the Republicans tried to, or did, appoint him to the Supreme Court. There was allegations of him being massively inappropriate. Basically sexual assault on a woman when he was a college lad. And his defence was one of the most ridiculously stupid. Yes, I'm guilty. I'm just going to come out with some ridiculously stupid defence that I like drink. I like alcohol. I like beer. That was his defence. And of course, the Republicans, grilled her massively. Didn't let her get away with anything at all. But their man, he was okay. He could say whatever he wanted. So there's still a lot of that right-wing stuff there in that party. And when they're in power, you're still going to see some of that. Certainly in America. Although I think, I've got to say, quite likely, if we have 2 terms of Democrats, I think the next Republican is going to be a lot more centrist than right-wing. Because if that person is right-wing, they'll only have 1 term. They know that. They're going to have to be centrist. Well, because put it this way, if you're somewhere in the centre, not extreme right-wing, you're going to seem right-wing to most because you're not extreme left-wing. I don't think the left-wing is going to shut up. Not for a while. Well, put it this way, if God reveals himself in an almighty way and convicts people of their sins, then all of that could just disappear overnight. Could. Is it likely? No. No. Well, because, a lot of people are going to repent of that sort of stuff. A lot of people will see the light with regards to that sort of stuff. But an awful lot of people won't. And that's okay. Well, you look at where the Bible talks about the end days. The end days are dark. Well, they're going to be dark for a reason, right? We can't expect the end days to be dark without darkness. There's going to be darkness happening, isn't there, really? And so the left-wing extremist points of view are very dark. And that's the thing, from when I was younger, we knew that the right-wing could be quite dangerous. We didn't believe the left-wing could be dangerous at all. We didn't even know about the left wing. We knew nothing about left-wing extremists. I suppose even women's rights wasn't that strong at that point in time. We'd heard about the women of the 30s pushing for women's rights, and that was sort of viewed as left-wing, but that was in the 30s. It wasn't really now, and we had Margaret Thatcher. When I was a sort of teenager, we had Margaret Thatcher as the leader of the country. So therefore, a woman was in power. Where's the need for women's rights? That's how we saw it then. But although people may look back and think how bad society is now, what mistakes did we make to make it like this? Society is exactly where it needs to be. From a spiritual point of view, it's where it needs to be. That may seem a bit sort of, what, how, who? It is, it's where it needs to be. We have to come to the point of things like the 666. We have to come to the point where the Antichrist is going to be the head of the one world union type of thing. Exactly what it's going to look like, I don't know. But basically, you've got the European Union, you've got other unions that will likely come together and form this one world government, where the Antichrist will be the head of that. But that's got to happen. How's that going to happen? Well, one thing, COVID is helpful massively with regards to that. Compliance. COVID has taught these people in charge that people will be compliant. Why do you think the Lord talked about people as sheep? Because we are like sheep. Look at the education system. The education systems are designed to create people to think in a certain way. Years past, they've been designed to create people that were good thinkers, so they could bring society forward, so that we could have poets, we could have songwriters, so we could have people that produce fantastic television, fantastic plays, all that sort of stuff. Whereas from the 90s, it was all repeat things exactly as you've heard them. Don't question anything, don't expand, don't discuss, just repeat. And of course, what does that do? That then means that when the government starts speaking about things like COVID and says, oh, we've got locked down, it's the best thing for everyone, what do people do? Instead of questioning, saying, really? Is that the best thing for everyone? Everyone just says, we've got locked down, it's the best thing for everyone. They go and tell their neighbours, they go and tell their friends, they go and tell their work colleagues. We've got locked down, it's the best thing for everyone. Everyone's saying this. The younger people, the older people, all saying this. Why? Because of the fact they've been moulded by society. Gently, 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 gently. To just repeat and not question anything. So we've had education to do that. We've had TV programs. We've had things that the government has put into place to try and get people to do that. Trust us. We're the government. We care about you. That's another thing they do, to say, don't question it. Just trust us. Just repeat what we're saying, because we have your best interest. We wouldn't hurt you. We're your government. We wouldn't want to do that to you. We do rely on your votes, don't we, really? So we are going to make sure that whatever you ask us to do, we're going to do that. Well, we saw with Brexit, that wasn't true, was it? They said that they'd do what we wanted, and yet people voted to leave. And they did their absolute best to try and stop that from happening, didn't they? They made it so much more difficult for the people negotiating than it had to be. Because they really didn't believe that the idiot people would vote against what they wanted. Even though they gave them both options, in or out of Europe. They chose out. Yeah. Well, that basically told the politicians that the public aren't quite as robotic as they think they are. But it also told the people that you can't trust these politicians, really. But the problem is, enough people, what do they do? What do they do? Did they blame the politicians? Even the people that voted to stay in, did they vote the politicians that were pushing for in and not doing a good enough job on that? Did they blame them for the fact the vote went against them? Nope. No, they blamed the voters that voted out. It was their fault because they didn't understand, and they're stupid, so therefore they should have voted in if they had just understood. But excuse me, it was your side. The people that were campaigning to remain in did a poor job. But blame someone else. The reason why blame someone else is a good idea, and the point of it is the politicians wanted them to blame the public who voted, because then it means that you still believe in the politicians, don't you? They've still got enough of a people that believe in them. But that is starting to erode now. Well, possibly. As I say, it depends. With regard to this situation with COVID, let's see what history writes about this. Yeah, soon history. Let's see, do they have any investigations as to what's happened and to how they've handled things? If not, then they're going to try and sweep it all under the carpet. If yes, if the public demand it, then certainly it's likely that the public will start going against their own politicians, which could end up in them wanting back into some sort of organisation like the EU. Well, of course, if you don't trust your own politicians, you need to be led by someone that you trust. What are you going to do? You can't trust Labour and you can't trust Conservatives. You've got to trust somebody. Haven't you, really? That's the reality. I say, looking at the things that are happening now, look and see what the Bible says about the last days. How are they going to get from now to there? Because they are. So how's that like to happen? Then put it this way, I'm not saying in any way, shape or form that God has told me, to say all the stuff I've said today. This isn't like yesterday. Yesterday was a better day. This is more of a discuss sort of thing. This is more of a, well, let's consider these things. One thing I will say, what I said about older people, that is something that God has said, definitely. This is important, You've got to use the people who have all that knowledge and experience before it's gone. Once it's gone, it's gone. You've got to use all that. It's vitally important that you use all that, really. From a spiritual point of view, what's going on with COVID? Why? One thing that is a certainty that we're looking at, emissions have gone down immensely. So global warming has been halted quite a bit. The things that they said we needed to do, an awful lot of that has been done. An awful lot of that has been done. Right? Because emissions are down immensely. All over the world. When we were properly on lockdown, you had animals in the streets. Right? Sheep in the streets. They took back the land, basically, for a while. That would have had a positive effect. Is that what God was trying to do? I don't know. No, because in the end, the Bible says that this world is going to be destroyed. It's going to be replaced with something far, far better. So therefore, I don't think saving the planet is part of the job. Not in that way. But, I mean, that's a good thing, I suppose. I mean, if it helps a few animals to live a bit longer, that's good, isn't it, really? Right. You don't want to see polar bears struggling. That's not very nice. But, that's been one thing about COVID that's happened. It's been good. Not a lot else, really. I think people have started to realise about, some people have realised how important life is. Once sort of living has been taken away from them, some people will realise how important life is. Have enough people realise that? Don't know. Some people have been able to maybe get right with God and sort some things out that they had to sort out. That's good. In the end, have we done enough? No. At least probably not. No. I don't think we have done enough. But, we've still got time. We do. And, if God wants things to happen, He's going to make things happen. By a crook or by whatever. Hiya. How you doing?
Fine.
Good. Right, so there you go. Let's say, if God wants things to happen, they will happen. You take care, God bless. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.